live on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. Okay, is anyone here? Oops. I'll move my cameras over a bit. Okay. My hat is always wonky. I've always got one side higher than the other. I don't know why. I'll take it off and look at it, and it's not the hat, it's my head. Anyway, okay. Just waiting for people to turn up. Hello. People are coming in slowly but surely. While we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. It actually looks like it might be sunny out today. Oops, just a sec here. Okay. Just waiting for people to turn up. Prince George. You were just about to watch the replay from yesterday. Oh, that's cute. On YouTube or Facebook? Oh, I guess the only place you can see it would be YouTube. Oh, that's really sweet. Well, here I am. I didn't know if I was going to get on this weekend, but I've got an awkwardly timed appointment with a client today, and I can't really go out and do something. So I thought I'm just sitting around here, and I didn't feel like doing any admin work. So I thought I'll do a live. I love doing lives. So I watched them when we were rocking to sleep. Oh, that's cute. Midland, Ontario, north of Barrie. I don't know much about Canada, to be honest. Whenever I travel, I tend to go somewhere else. But yeah, I used to go when I was a kid. We used to drive across Canada to visit relatives. And so we used to drive to Toronto, and then they moved to Winnipeg, and then they moved to Calgary. So we'd drive a long way, then a shorter way, then a shorter way. And yeah, that was when I was a kid. That would have been in the 60s, 70s, a long time ago. I'm sure it's all changed by now. Okay, so let's get going. It's going to be a small group, I'm assuming. It's Saturday. It's family day. You're all out and busy. North of Toronto. Okay. I didn't realize how close Toronto was to New York. I looked at it on a map recently. It's very close. I'm surprised you don't drive there a lot. I would be going to New York all the time. I'm a city girl. So yeah, Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome, Melissa. Okay, so let's get going. My name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you'll see my free behavior board, all my courses. I have 2 boot camps now. On the boot camp courses, we're starting our series, 6-week series, starting 2 weeks from today. Every Saturday morning for 6 weeks, I'll be doing, it's basically a group coaching session. If you're interested in that, you have to be in on the courses, the boot camp courses. So you can check that out above if you're interested, or you can look into coaching if that's what you're interested in. Travel to Prince George. It's an hour's flight and balmy 5 degrees today. Ooh. Ooh, toasty. For anyone who's not from Canada, 5 degrees, that's Celsius. Nashville, Tennessee. Chris Goddard, I think you've been here before. Norway. So I'm not even going to try and say your name. I'll just mess it up. I'm half Norwegian. So I've never been there. And I didn't find out I was Norwegian until I was in my 50s. I thought I knew I was Norwegian. That's not true. I thought I was Norwegian and Irish. Turns out I'm not. I'm Norwegian and French. So I always thought I was Irish for 50 plus years. I found out I'm not. They could have told me I was from Mars. I would have believed it. When you're adopted, you'll believe whatever they tell you. They didn't know. They thought I was Irish. Okay, so let's get going with your parenting questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, I like to throw some other stuff in because most of the questions I get are pretty much the same. They're like, how do I discipline my toddler? That's really, well, I mean, I talk about toddlers, but disciplining is not what I'm all about. I'm more about connecting with your kids. So in coaching, it really comes across. But on these lives, it doesn't so much. It's more about discipline because I'm feeding off your questions, right? That's why I try and throw a whole bunch of stuff in. It really is more about connecting with your kids, not disciplining. You deal with bad behavior, then you focus on the good kid. Where you put your energy, where you put your focus is what grows. If you're putting all your energy and focus into the bad behavior, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So okay. Switzerland. I was there in 1980. I was in Switzerland. We did the whole Europe thing, 7 countries in 7 days. That kind of, I look back at that. I get tired just thinking about it. Okay. Pacifier weaning for almost 3-year-old. Just say you're a big girl now or a big boy now and have them help you throw them all in a bag, zip them up and throw them out somewhere they can't be retrieved. I would even drive them somewhere and put them in a bin somewhere else, right? So anyway, just say no more and just be willing to go through the scene. It's going to be difficult, but get them something else. Get them sippy cups or some other special cup that they can use instead. But yeah, it's tricky, but it's a lot easier than weaning them off sucking their thumb because you can't throw that out, can you? And the bitters and all that, they don't work. They'll just suck the bitters off like that, and then they'll get down to their thumb. I knew someone who sucked his thumb, I guess when he was sleeping, because he sucked it till he was like 12 years old, and he has no thumbprint as an adult. So he'd be a great criminal, wouldn't he? Okay. Is there something that happens at age 5? My son's become very emotional in the last little while. Cries about everything. Not sure how to help him. I don't know. Did something happen? Usually when they change, it's usually at 3. That's when I notice it most, but not at 5 so much. Now he's 5. He's probably just started school, new school year. He's only been in that. Maybe something's happening there. I would do some research into that. I would even ask the teacher, have you noticed anything that's happening or blah, blah, blah. If you say, oh, what's wrong? What's bothering you? They're not going to talk about it. You might do some role playing. Say, oh, do you want to do some role playing? I'll pretend I'm you and you pretend you're another kid. Stuff comes out in role playing or play. That's why they call it role playing. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to figure that one out. I don't know. It sounds like something's triggered it. You just have to figure out what it is. Okay, I'm going to read some stuff that I've got written down. Blah, 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 blah. Oops, what have I done here? Okay, don't forget, we've got this new 6-week program coming up. It's going to be group coaching attached to the boot camp courses. Check it out above. It's just going to be running for 6 weeks. We did it once before, and all those videos, well, if you can't make it, you don't have to make it every time. Those videos with all the different parents asking questions will be put into the course just like they were last time. So you can see you're not alone. You're not the only one struggling. Parents, I'm always surprised when parents say to me, am I the only one that goes through this? I'm like, are you kidding me? I've had 4 today going through the exact same thing. So it's in coaching. So yeah, you're not alone. It's just that when people talk about parenting or when it's posted online, it's often all the fluffy, pretty stuff, right? They don't show you all the mess behind the camera. You know, like it's life's messy. Parenting's messy. That's normal. So yeah, you're not alone. If you're struggling, you're not alone. A huge portion of my clients are extremely successful, killing it in business and every other way in their personal life. And they're just the master of their domain kind of. Oh, that's a Seinfeld thing. I didn't mean it that way. If you've seen, you know. Anyway, yeah, they're just killing it in business and their personal life, but parenting they're struggling with and they can't figure it out. They say, why is it I can manage thousands of people, this huge corporation, but I can't handle one little human being? And I say, because it's personal, right? You live with them. You don't live with all your employees. It's just different. It's personal. That's why I get teachers, principals, child psychologists as clients. I couldn't do their job. It's not personal. That's business. That's an institution. It's a different relationship. So yeah, but parenting is personal. It's different from any other relationship. Not only is it personal, it's forever. Even marriage, unfortunately, isn't always forever, but being a parent is. Even if anything happens, I mean, that's still your child forever and ever and ever. As long as you live, you're still a parent of that child. So it's a lifelong commitment. Merritt, BC. Never been there. I'm going to look it up. I'm curious. How far north is that? I don't know anything about Canada. I never traveled to Canada. I was born in Vancouver, but I never, if I travel, oh, it's more the interior. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Oh, I have been to Penticton a few times. When I was a teenager, we used to go there for Peach Fest or something. Can't remember. Anyway. How to get 6 and 9-year-old girls to bed when they share a room. Check out my bedtime battles course. That I know one's 9, it goes from 2 to 8, but you can still use it with that. So yeah, it's just a whole system, how to get them in bed and how to keep them there. They always have excuses. No, they don't have excuses. There's no reason for it. They're just doing it. So, and you're buying into it, guaranteed. You're buying into it. If they keep doing it, yeah, there's a payoff. Beautiful San Diego. I don't want to hear you bragging about your gorgeous weather down there. I don't want to hear that. There's a reason I'm wearing a beanie and a big sweater. Okay. How do you co-parent with a narcissist? Well, you don't name call your ex, for one thing. And are they a narcissist? Or do they just have selfish tendencies? And would they say the same about you? Often that's the way too. So sorry about that. But too many people are throwing the word, oh, my ex is a narcissist. If I hear that one more time, I might scream. So yeah, so I don't know what to say to that. I don't know. I can't judge your partner. I don't know if they're a narcissist or not. I'm almost 64 years old, and I've only ever met one diagnosed narcissist. And what a charming person that was. They're very good at pretending to be something they're not. It's not my ex-husband. If by the way, if that was my ex, I would never say it. That's the father of my kids. So yeah. But in all these years, I've only ever met one true narcissist. Lots of people have narcissistic or selfish tendencies. But yeah, be careful with name calling your ex. That's the father of your children or the mother of your children. Hey, from rainy UK. Oh, thank you. Well, it's not raining here. It's cold, but it's not raining. I think we have very similar weather, the UK and Canada and Vancouver. I think it's quite similar. We sometimes won't even get snow. If we get snow, it usually lasts for maybe a couple of days. Sometimes we'll get it for a week or two. And it's chaos in Vancouver. If we get snow, we don't know how to drive in it because it is chaos. We're all like, one little flake of snow and we're careening off the road. But it's funny, years and years ago, I had a cousin who was laughing at us. She was from Toronto. She was visiting and she was laughing how the whole city shuts down. Well, darn if she didn't slide into a ditch. Or something like that. Was it a cousin or a friend? I can't remember who. Anyway, but though it's different here. It's very wet. It's not that powdery, sticky snow that you can grip onto. It's just slippery and wet. So yeah, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Your lucky thing. Oh yes, not raining. Well, it might rain later. So it rains a lot here. We can have rain, snow, sun, and thunder all in one day. Wow, it's a potpourri. I remember one day, Vancouver really is a beautiful city. It just is. I feel very lucky to live here. And it's a rainforest. That's why it rains so much. And that's why it's so green. We've got a lot of mountains around. I'm right near, I live downtown. So it's the ocean and the mountains are right there. It's like a 20-minute drive, to get to the mountains. I remember one day back in the 80s, I came home from work. In the morning, I'd gone down to the beach with my dog. So I hit the beach in the morning. Then after work, and I hit the beach and I went down in my bikini. I went early. So it was nice and hot out. So I walked down. That was when I was younger. I went down in my bikini and then I went to work. And then after work, I went up and skied on top of the mountain. Like it was a 20-minute drive. And then looked down over the city. What other city can you do that in? You're in a bikini on the beach in the morning and at night you're up skiing in the local mountains. But yeah, it just struck me as, what other city has this? It's a pretty amazing city, actually. There's lots of great cities around. Okay. Okay. It's sometimes hard with my 1-year-old, mostly sleeping, but I think I need to wait until she's a little older. With me, she only sleeps. Yeah. Okay. When they're little, you just kind of got to survive the toddler years. It's not so much that you can manage them, but you're sort of teaching them right from wrong. And you're starting to set yourself up as a leader. So you follow through with what you say. You say what you mean and you mean what you say. And you don't mean what you do more because they are about actions, not words. But if you say, okay, we're going now, make sure you pick them up and go. Okay, a lot of parents just don't follow through with stuff, and that's why they don't respect you. By the time they turn 3, that's when your leadership will really start to show up. If you've been a leader in the past, at 3, they get easy. At 3, they get worse if you're not a leader. So you're building the blocks here. You're building the base to leadership in the toddler years. I have a boot camp course for toddlers if you're interested, but it's not so much, you're sort of more investing in tomorrow, but it's sort of the way it's done. It's not laid out like the other boot camp course. The other boot camp course is 5 weeks to learn how to be a leader. With the toddler one, it's just sort of reacting to what they come up with, because they're all so different. They don't all come up with the same stuff. So it's more sort of reacting to what they come up with and how you deal with it. Anyway, okay. Okay, I use your tip, Elizabeth Burke. I use your tips on my almost 21-month-old, and it's working slowly with hitting when he's frustrated. We have another baby due in December, so I'm hoping to not fall behind on what we're doing. Yeah, you just got to keep going through. You got to be consistent. They remember the times you mess up. I don't know why, but they love it when you mess up, and they remember that. They only remember what suits them, basically. So if you mess up, they think, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. I think I'll do it again. You got to be consistent. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to look on, I keep forgetting to look down on YouTube. It was funny because I always say the best place to watch me is on YouTube, because I only have like about maybe 20,000 followers on there. Whereas my big platforms, it gets busy on these lives. Anyway, so I said, best place to watch me is on YouTube, because there's not as many people on there and I'll see your questions. And that whole live, I forgot to look at YouTube the whole time. That's typical of me. Don't be me. Okay. Rosie, I'm over this hot weather in California. We need some cold weather. I don't know. Poor you. Aw, no sympathy here. I lived in Australia for about 20 years, and it was the subtropics. We lived in Brisbane. So yeah, I can't complain. I know what it's like to live in that kind of weather. It was fabulous. I never would have left there, except my mother was elderly and not doing well. So I wanted to be with her at the end, and she died in my arms at the end. So it was beautiful. No regrets. Okay. Anything for younger babies still in a crib? He goes to bed great, but has a false start about 45 minutes later. I've been playing around with naps, but it doesn't seem to make a difference. Yeah, I don't discuss naps a lot because I never know when they're going to start outgrowing them and how much napping they need. They're all so different. But yeah, if you're really having a problem with him falling asleep, the only thing that you could do, I would like to ask a few questions, but I'll just generalize here. What I would do is, if they're really struggling, how old is he? Just a sec here. Younger babies. Oh, I don't know how old he is. Okay, let's say it's a wee babe and they're just they're not staying asleep. I might go in there, sit in a chair in the dark beside them and pat them on the back. Okay, and you look like you're falling asleep. Don't talk to them or anything. So it's still soothing, but there's no stimulation. There's no reason to stay awake if your parent's just sitting there like this, but you can pat them on the back. I got a lot of different methods. That's just one. It's kind of an easier one. Haha, Vancouverites and snow. It's funny to watch in the news up here. Yeah, I know. You should see us. We are useless. We can't even walk in it. We're just useless. Yeah, one little snowflake and we're all talking about it. It's all we talk about everywhere. Oh my God, there's snow. Yeah, we're useless. I live downtown, and I live in a little bit, you wouldn't even call it a hill. I think a marble might roll down it, but it's not much of a hill. But when it first snows, this sounds a bit sadistic, but I'm okay. I'm who I am, right? I ain't perfect, that's for sure. I have a sunroom here, and it's all windows. So I'll sit on my chair with a cup of tea, and I'll just watch people sliding down that hill and all the pedestrians falling, and I'll just sit and laugh and watch. I don't film it, so I'm not that bad. But yeah, it's entertainment. It's Vancouver. We don't know what we're doing when it snows. Useless. Okay. One thing I want to point out too is most people on here are toddler parents, is that a lot of parents seem to think that they need to explain what not to do. So they'll talk to their toddlers, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't hit it. It hurts mommy's feelings. You should, all that, I call them mini therapy sessions. That's absolute garbage. They're not listening to you. Okay. That you use consistent corrective actions. So they will learn through repetition and consequences. It's the consistent corrective actions is the consequence when they're toddlers. By the time they're 3, you put them on the behavior board. It's completely free above. You put them on there and there's an actual consequence, because at 3, their frontal lobe is developed enough that they have the ability to stop and think before they act. Under 3, not so much. But it's not a lack of understanding that makes them do naughty things. It's just because they want to do it. Okay. But if you use consistent corrective actions long enough, something in their brain will click eventually, and they just won't do it because they know that you're going to pull them away from fun and fun away from them. Okay, so it's not a lack of understanding that makes them do the bad thing. It's just a lack of impulse control. The only way to interrupt that is to use actions, but you got to be consistent. They got to be corrective. I feel like I'm talking really fast. Okay, I've had a lot of caffeine. Maybe that's it. My daughter works with me, so I can say her name. I don't say my son's name. He doesn't work with me, but we often say, like, often I'll see her and I'll say, oh, this isn't caffeine Amy. Caffeine Amy is very different from non-caffeine Amy. So I love caffeine Amy. She's just on the ball talking. The other Amy, she's darling still. She's a real sweet girl, but yeah, not quite as peppy. I love caffeine Amy. I love them both. Okay. Okay. Oh, actually, I've got to move over to, okay. I got to move over to Instagram now because I've got stuff to do before my session today. So I'm going to move over to Instagram now, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. If you're interested in watching me on there, that's where I save all my lives. And I'm more likely to see your questions on there because that's like, I've only got about 20,000 followers. I'm not complaining, but I've got like it's my smallest platform. So I'm more likely to see your questions on there because these other ones can get pretty crazy. Although today, not Facebook. Facebook's my smallest social media platform. Wasn't that busy this morning because it's a Saturday morning and you're all busy with your families. Anyway, I'm hopping over to Instagram. Check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses. They have the group coaching sessions coming up soon. There's no extra cost with those. It'll be included in the boot camp courses, and they start 2 weeks from today. So look it up if you're interested, and you can look into coaching. I have a wait list for that, but I will get to eventually. Anyway, was that it? Yeah. Okay, so happy parenting. I'm going over to Instagram now. Bye now. Yes, I am talking fast. I can tell I've had a lot of caffeine. Okay. There we go. I didn't get very many people on Facebook today. Usually I'll get a few thousand in these lives, but on Saturday morning, everyone's busy with their kids, right? It's nap time for us, which has become easier with your tips. Thanks so much. Excellent. I don't talk about naps a lot. There's a reason for that, but yeah, I'm glad that my tips are helping, but I don't talk about naps really. So I'm wondering, what am I helping with, Tabitha? Okay, that's enough, Rosie. Us cold weather people don't want to hear from you. It just doesn't feel like holidays here in California with all this hot weather. Alrighty, poor you. I love heat. I lived in Australia for 20 years. I love the heat. So yeah, I don't mind. I'm used to the weather here. I grew up here in Vancouver, but yeah, I'd always rather be in the tropics than this. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm going to introduce myself. Welcome to my live. If you're new, if not, welcome back. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses. I have 2 of them. One for toddlers, one for 3 to 12-year-olds. We have our big 6-week program coming out. I'll be doing group coaching every Saturday morning within those boot camp courses. You have to be enrolled in the boot camp courses. There's no extra charge once you are. I've done this once before. I did it with the older one because I didn't have the toddler one out yet. So we're doing 2 different group coaching sessions every Saturday morning. You'll see it's all in the link above if you're interested. Also, you can check out coaching if you want that. That's one-on-one with me, and yeah, I've got a wait list, but I'm pretty good right now. Yeah, it's not that bad right now. I think there was like a 6-week wait over summer. Summer was crazy. Normally it's not that busy, but summer was crazy this year. Anyway, okay. Hello, Gigi plus 3. Gigi +3. That reminds me of because I was reading it wrong. That this guy kept saying, he was a man trying to read this word, and his kids were laughing at him. He was reading it out, and he goes, "Man's laughter. Man's laughter. What are you laughing? It's manslaughter." I guess I shouldn't say that on here. Man's laughter. So that's kind of reminded me of that. Okay, stop talking about the weather. Stop. Did you just come over from Facebook, Kelly? I don't want to hear about your warm weather. I don't want to hear about it. My kids toot a lot. Should I tell them to lay off the beans? No comment. You're in Sweden. There's quite a time difference. What is your time in Sweden right now? And what day is it? Like, I lived in Australia for years. Like, it's tomorrow there. And it's about 18 hours ahead. So I had to, for 20 years, I was always thinking, always had to figure that out. Do you know I was there for almost 20 years and I never had one North American friend in all that time. They were all Kiwis, Poms, or Aussies. Isn't that interesting? Or most, and there was other, countries too, but not one single North American friend. You would think I would have, wouldn't you? I never searched it out. I believe that when you move somewhere, you should assimilate in, right? Just adopt that way of life. And, but yeah, isn't that interesting? I look back on that and I thought that was weird. I never had one North American friend. I don't know how to answer this one. But I'm going to read it because I'm sure this kind of stuff comes up with other parents. And I'll tell you what my gut reaction is, but I don't have a great answer. My 6-year-old daughter had a play date today and she told her friend, "You are more fun than me. Is it a self-esteem issue? I felt she was jealous of her friend. What can I do?" She could also be building her friend up. Like, you're prettier than me. You see, it might not be self-esteem. It might be building her friend up. I don't know which it is. What's she like? Is she confident little kid? Does she have high self-esteem? By the way, confidence and high self-esteem are two different things. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people have a lot of confidence. They can get up on stage and do theater, but their self-esteem is in the toilet. A lot of people with high self-esteem can't get up and do a public speaking. So confidence is different from self-esteem. Sorry, I'm scrolling ahead to make sure you're here when I answer. 2-year-old doesn't come when I call her name. Any advice? Go and get her. When you ask them to do something, if you need to do, come on, we're leaving now. If they don't, I don't repeat myself. If they don't come when you sort of say we're leaving, I go get them. You take action. You follow up that with action. So, okay, we're going to change your diaper. If they start running, I don't say it again. I just go get them and change their diaper. You see, take action. Follow up. I don't like to call it a command, but follow up a request with action. Remember, they're all about actions. They're not about words anyway. Everyone's trying to have these mini therapy sessions with toddlers. It's absolute garbage. It's crap. It's garbage. It's ridiculous. I don't know anyone else out there who's teaching parenting, so I'm not insulting anyone, but I'm sure insulting that method. These mini therapy sessions discussing all their big feelings and big emotions. Oh, what the heck? Where's this coming from? Don't tell me. Anyway, yeah, it's garbage. They're about actions. They want to play. Their love language is fun. Something I do not understand is when they say, get down on their level and say, use your words. How freaking patronizing is that? I just don't get it. They may parrot what you want to hear in the moment, but their behavior is probably going to get worse. So yeah, they'll parrot what you, I shouldn't. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't. They're just parroting you. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, yes, I do. Do you have any top tips for connecting with teens and transitioning to teen years? Absolutely. You always connect with kids, and especially, let's just focus on tweens and teens right now. Tweens are 9 to 12, teens are 13 plus. So how you connect with them is in their world. You show an interest in their world and a willingness to be invited into it, but don't force yourself on them. Like a good example is my son. When he was we were like best friends, and he was 15, and I could feel him pulling away because he had different interests. And I said, what's going on? We don't have as much fun anymore. And he goes, Mom, I'm not your girlfriend anymore. Like, I'm turning into a man. I'm like, oh, sorry. I was really thrown off by that. And I thought, you're right. So what I did was he loved heavy metal music and video games. I don't like either of those things. So what I would do is I'd get a book and I'd just sit down on the couch next to him while he was playing video games. Next thing you know, as time went on, we're talking about the game, then he's handing me a controller. So I made myself available to be invited into his world, but I didn't force it. Hey, do you want to play a game? I didn't force it. Next thing you know, he's making me playlists. of music that I might like, and I ended up really liking it. My favorite album became NWA's Greatest Hits. I'm not going to say it again. You can look it up if you heard me. But yeah, it's filthy. But I just love the beat. I never know what people are saying, although I know a lot of what they're saying. It's pretty filthy. But I just love the music itself. I'm not into lyrics as much as I am the music, because I never can hear. I've got this deafness thing going on. Anyway, so yeah, you make yourself available to enter their world. Also, do not use those opportunities to discuss what's upsetting you about them. When they've invited you into their world, don't use that. Don't leverage the good times to talk about the bad times. Do not do that. They will shut you out. You think you're going to be invited in next time? Nope. Okay. I've got a lot of different tips for teenagers. They're my favorite age. My 4-year-old twins, picking up their toys. Okay, so they just want to make a mess and not pick it up. So check out the toy rotation system. I've got a lot of videos on that, and it just gets things more organized so they stay focused. And also, I used to teach my kids, well, sure, you can get that stuff out. They're 4 years old. They can learn this. Sure, you can get that out, but you got to put that away first. So I wouldn't let them get like Play-Doh out or anything until they put away their toys. But they didn't have very many toys to put away because I had a toy rotation system going. I'm more of a very organized minimalist. So if I asked my kids, oh, put your laundry away, or here's your laundry to put away, I never really told them what to do. They just had chores and they knew to do them. So, but when they had to put their laundry away from the age of 3, they had to do that. But there was an empty hanger where the shirt goes. There was an empty hole where the rolled up undies and socks went. You get the idea. It was very organized and very doable. So they just got in the habit of cleaning up after themselves. They got to the point where they, like, I use the as soon as method. So if I wanted them to do something and they hadn't done it and they know they were supposed to, and they just forgot. So I would wait till they asked for something. Can we please have a snack? Sure, as soon as you clean that up. Oh, sorry, mommy. And they'd run and do it, and then they get the snack. So I use the as soon as method. And then it got to the point where they never even asked for anything unless they looked around first. So they learn to do what they need to do before they can do what they want to do. Talk about self-discipline. Both my kids are phenomenal workers, like almost too much so. They're really hard workers. But yeah, I think that's a lot of it is I taught them self-discipline from a very, very young age. So in other words, you want to do something fun? Sure. Just make sure you do what you got to do first. Have you made your bed? They just checked in on themselves. I never told them what to do. Okay. This is the first live I've caught. That's not 3 a.m. where I live. Wanted to advise. Oh, I'm not even going to answer your question. No, I'm kidding. It's the very first live. Yeah, I don't usually do it in the morning. It's just because I've got a client and it was just awkward for me to pick up anything else and whatever. This is okay. So you got a 5-year-old who lies constantly and compulsively. Just get the behavior board. It's completely free and put on the behavior board, no lying. It's not in the attitude department. It's an actual sort of more of an action. It's like you can put down no lying. You can't put no yelling. That's in the more personality attitude department. But you can put down no bad words, no name calling, or no lying. And you don't do them all at once. 1 rule per board. Okay, 1 rule per week. So just put down no lying. And then you can even put down, he's 5, he might argue with you. I was telling the truth. You write down, I will decide when you're lying. If he argues, say, chances are you might have lied in the past and I didn't catch it. So this is catching up with that. You see what I mean? Like, just don't even argue that. Just say, well, here's the consequence. Yeah. And welcome. I'm glad you could join us. Yeah, this is the only place I answer questions, parenting questions. I don't have time anywhere else. But yeah, if you email me questions, they won't get answered. It's very rare that I mean, it has to be something. They all go through my daughter anyway, and she does all that. But it's the only place I answer questions. So I just don't have time otherwise. Five-year-old waking up multiple times a night, scared of bad dreams. I don't know. Check out my bedtime battles course. See if it's appropriate for you. You can use the galaxy lights, the sound machine. Maybe she does have night terrors. Night terrors are different from bad dreams. Night terrors, evidently, I've been told by professionals who work with this, they've said that night terrors are when they wake up and they're still living in the nightmare. Like they don't realize they're awake. But a sound machine or galaxy lights or something will be more, they'll snap out of it easier. That's what they've told me. Well, they didn't tell me about the sound machine or anything, but they said that that's what it is that they just don't, they think they're still living in the nightmare. So maybe that's it. If not, just use the Bedtime Battles course. You can use it in conjunction with that anyway. It's a mini course. It's up above if you're interested. I'm glad I found your content. You really have a gift. You know, we all have something to contribute. Parenting, working with kids, I always understood kids. I was 11. I was volunteering in daycare centers just for fun. Like I always was very motherly. And I do think, yeah, we're all gifted with something. I'm also gifted with cleaning. I love cleaning. I would be embarrassed to show you my cleaning cupboard. I had some work done recently and the guy opened it up and he said, wow. He literally said, wow, when he saw all my equipment and all my cleaning supplies. I just love cleaning. And also he said, this is the most spotless home I've ever seen. That was funny. So yeah, I think I'm very gifted with cleaning and I don't want to toot my horn about parenting, but I did always find kids easy to understand. So, and I love them. There you go. Thanks so much for that though. If you want to know anything about cleaning, I'm your gal. Okay, got the Bedtime Battles course. She thinks it's a fun game to keep bringing her back to bed. Goes for hours and hours. How far does she get? And do you pick her up? You don't pick them up. If you pick them up, that's a game. So you got to walk them back or drag them back. No, don't hurt them, but just carry them underneath their arms. But do not like pick them up. But yeah, I don't know. Because I got another one who did the exact same thing. And they were picking her up. Also, they were doing it right at her doorway. You got to be farther away. She has to kind of come quite a distance. So when you walk her back without looking at her or talking to her, you're pretty boring. So they don't usually like that part. Okay, that's what you're trying to drag it out. Go slow. If you go fast, it's more of a game. Go slow. So give that a go. That bedtime course, Bedtime Battles, I call it, is the most successful method of everything I teach. That's not true. It's the fastest method of everything I teach, and successful too, I guess. It's black and white. There's no real gray area with that. And also kids, you're meeting their needs. So that's why it's so easy, or not easy, but it's straightforward. Like a lot of disciplining, you meet their needs and then you manage their wants. A lot of disciplining is about their wants, but this Bedtime Battles is about their needs. So it's different. You got to give me the age. I can't answer it. Are they 16 or 6 months or, I need an age. Okay, you're going to hate me for this, but I'm just going to throw it out there. My almost 2-year-old started hitting and pinching. This is so not his personality, so we're a bit less. Of course it's his personality. If he's doing it, then it's his personality. But it's temporary. He's just testing it out. There's 4 things that kids are born to do or they're never going to do. One is aggression, which is that. They're either going to do it or they're never going to do it. It's just something they're born with. The other one is climbing. The other one is running. And the other one is tantrums, okay? It's not your fault that he's done that. Just say, oh, so he's a pincher, whatever. So it is part of his personality right now, for sure. What you do is who you are. It's like people who say, I didn't mean to do that. That's not who I am. Oh, I hate that saying. That's not who I am. Like, it is who you are. What you do is who you are. So just accept the fact that he's a hitter and a pincher right now. He's just little. You can teach him out of that. Check out my toddlers who hit, bite, etc. course. Yeah, some kids are just going to try it. It's not a big deal. Oh, and you can't just put an age without the question because I can't piece it together. Like I can't go back and figure out, you know what I mean? Anyway, I've got to go over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. If not, check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, or you can look into my boot camp courses. I have the big group coaching sessions coming up. They're free with the boot camp courses. Check that out. They just go for 6 weeks. I've done it once before. It was tons of fun. I really enjoyed it. And if you can't make it for that time, those will still be on the course. So you can see all the other parents asking questions. And it was really funny because one parent turned up last time. I can't remember. I think it was week 2. So she turned up to week 2 and she goes, I'm in week 2 and everything's going great. Everything's fantastic. I just get it. I just get it. And so my daughter was with me, I think. I can't remember. My daughter said, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. And I know what it was. My daughter later said, she goes, did you see that? That was fantastic. And I said, no, I wasn't looking at her. Do you know what I was looking at? All the other parents like this. They were all depressed because it wasn't working that fast for them. So it's funny. I'm always looking for the one who's in pain, right? So we're all sitting there looking miserable. So then I had to point out that it may regress, which it ended up doing anyway. But, some kids are just easier than others and, whatever. So it was really funny, though, that my daughter and I, because she's not into parenting, she just does all the back end stuff in my business. But she goes, wasn't that great? And I went, yeah, and yes and no. I thought that was really cute. Anyway, I got to go. I'm moving over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, happy parenting. Okay. So I just have to take a voice box break. My throat gets sore when I talk so much. I'm talking fast today for some reason. Okay. So I'm just making a note, something I forgot. Okay, we're just waiting. TikTok's a bit slow to get started, but then it's Instagram and TikTok are my biggest platforms, and they get really busy. And so yeah, and YouTube's my smallest one. So I'm more likely to see your questions here than anywhere else. Okay, this is from Lisa Raw. Oh, you're regular. Hi, Lisa. Since following your methods, my son, 2.5, has been saying, I love you, sharing food with me, trying more foods, and asking me to come and join him and play. All new things for us. Thank you. Okay, I've given you the advice. You're the one who's doing the work. So pat yourself on the back. Giving the advice is easy for me. Doing the work is the hard part for you. So yeah, good for you. Good for you. How do I handle my toddler throwing explosive tantrums? Is there any other kind? For bedtime and nap time? I don't discuss nap time because he might just not want them anymore. He might not need them. Both my kids stopped regular naps at about 12 months old. So they just didn't need them anymore. So I don't really discuss nap time. That's why. It's kind of controversial because do they really need the nap? I know you need them to have the nap. But if you get all this leadership done right, then you don't need a nap. You don't need to get rid of them for an hour anyway because they're easy kids to be around. So think about it that way. But bedtime, if they're having an explosive tantrum during bedtime, just put them in bed and follow my bedtime battles course. You just keep putting them back to bed, putting them back to bed. Let them have the tantrum. That's okay. That's okay. The fit scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums are them processing not getting their own way. Yeah, don't worry about it. That's the lesson. That is the tantrum is the lesson unless you get involved in it. If you look at them or talk to them during a tantrum, there's no lesson. None. Anyway. Welcome to my live. Where am I? I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. Anyway, welcome to my live, or welcome back if you're not new. And my name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach, a mom and a grandmother. And if you look at the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses. Starting in 2 weeks, we have our group coaching sessions included free with those boot camp courses. They're going to go for 6 weeks. We did it once before, and all those videos, we'll be collecting them. All those videos will be put on the course. So if you can't make it, you can still see all these other parents asking most of the same questions that you have. Okay, so we're going to be doing 2 separate ones. The group coaching session for the toddler boot camp course, and then right after that, we're going to be doing the group coaching session with the 3 to 12-year-old parents. Okay. Oh, and coaching. If you're interested in coaching, check out the link above. There is a wait list, but it's been pretty good lately. Summer was crazy, but right now it's pretty good. So it should be within a week. I should be able to get back to you. Do you think teens, 14-year-old, need an enforced bedtime? No, but I don't think that they should necessarily have their devices after 10 o'clock at night. Okay, because they'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning if they do. So it's okay to shut the devices off at a certain time. You decide when that is. On weekends, maybe it's 11 or 12. But during maybe a weeknight, it might be 9 or 10. Remember, that's how they communicate with their friends too. But they do other stuff on there too. We won't get into all that. But anyway. So no, I wouldn't force a bedtime, but I would say, okay, that's enough for the games and that tonight. Oh, just turned 3, hitting, spitting. Okay, put down no hitting on the behavior board and then have a consequence. Whoops. What time is it? Okay, I'm all right. Sorry. Alexa, start 30-minute timer.
30 minutes, starting now.
Sorry, I just have to remember something. Okay. Yeah, just taking stuff away. It's not how I operate. I don't start there. So look at the behavior board. And also you're on it too. They're more likely to follow the behavior board if you're also on it. If you break the rule, you're in trouble too. So it's okay. You got to be accountable. Leaders are accountable. My kids loved it when I messed up. If I forgot to do something I promised them I was going to do, oh my God. I remember one time I didn't know this had happened, but my kids, they were like 9 and 4. So my son's the older one. He was the talker. So he'd come in they came in the kitchen and this was them. And I'm like, oh shoot, what did I do? And my son said, remember last night you said, I promise tonight I'll make those muffins. I don't see no muffins nowhere. And they wouldn't have reminded me because they knew I'd mess up, because I hate cooking, by the way. I'm cleaning all the time, but I hate cooking. So they knew I was going to mess up and forget. So they never reminded me. The muffins weren't that important to them at all. But anyway, so then I said, okay, what do you want? And then he said, we've decided we'd love to go to the water slide park after school today. I'd say, fine, I'll bring your suits. So you see, we had fun with it. They love, and my daughter was right beside him the whole time. They loved it when I got in trouble. And they didn't get in trouble much. They were really self-disciplined, easy kids, because I earned that. I worked for that when they were little. And then after about 3.5, then I just sailed right through the teen years. So, but you got to work for that. You got to earn that. Don't expect it just to sit in your lap. You got to earn it. Anything worthwhile, you got to work for it, right? But yeah, I was the one in trouble. The behavior board is rules and consequences for every member of the family. It's just one rule for everybody. And there's 2 consequences for the kids. You start with, and they have to be 3 and over. You start with a positive action, like do a chore, clean something, whatever. If they won't do that, and it has to be within a time frame, so do a chore within 15 minutes of being asked to do so. So you might say, okay, I want you to sweep the kitchen floor within 15 minutes, and it starts now. Make sure the chore is only a couple of minutes, but give them 15 minutes to do it, because they might need some time where they just storm off and pout. Don't say a word. You're just a timekeeper. That's all you're doing. If they don't do that, beep, beep, the alarm went. Okay, so let me go to the behavior board. Now you didn't sweep the floor within 15 minutes of being asked to do so. I'll do it now. I'll do it now. It's too late. So media blackout starts now. That's the second consequence that you resort to if they don't do the first positive action. You do the second negative deprivation one. You take something away. It doesn't have to be media blackout. Whatever they love every single day, that they play with every single day, you take that away for 24 hours. Anything I can do while still pregnant with my first. I've got the best advice for new moms, and the dad too. All that matters, especially in the first 3 months, is mom and baby happy and healthy. That's it. Don't worry about anything. And also with babies, this is just my own opinion with this. This isn't so much advice. The second one is I never let a crying, I always picked up a crying baby if I could. If I'm right in the middle of the shower, I'm not going to, dripping wet, go out and grab them. But I never let a baby cry. With babies, you meet their needs and meet their wants. By the time they're about, maybe a year around there, you start to meet their needs and manage their wants. You're just teaching them the difference between what they can have and can't have and can't do, that kind of thing. You're just starting that. But yeah, mom and baby, happy and healthy. Don't worry about anything else. I remember once my husband came home from work and I was crying because it's my challenge with parenting was sleep deprivation. In that first, I was stupid enough to not nap during the day. When he napped, I didn't. It was stupid. Anyway, so I remember my husband came home. I had not showered all day. Now, to me, I love hygiene. I love cleaning, and I love cleaning myself too. I'm always clean as a whistle. So, and I hadn't showered all day. And my husband came home. I was crying and dirty. I just felt filthy and dirty, and I just felt like a total failure because to me, clean is everything. So anyway, but yeah, I just remember that. And I thought, I probably should have had a nap. I think he had slept, he'd been up most of the night. I think he was not feeling very well. And I think also when your baby's sick, you're afraid to sleep because you're worried about them, right? So I think maybe that was part of it too. But yeah, it's not always pretty. You're not always, don't look at those Instagram moms who always look gorgeous in their loungewear and, their hair is all done up, like adorable, makeup's on. Oh, I've hardly had a chance to put any makeup on. They got makeup on, right? So yeah, don't look at that. What I think to make yourself feel better, look up funny mom fails. funny mom fails, and you'll see some real stuff. I remember once my daughter was born. She was my second. And you just the second kid's different. You take them everywhere. Nothing. You just bring one diaper and nothing else. Like it's just you just get good at it. So when I took her out to a restaurant to meet friends, and she was brand new. She was maybe a week old. And one of my friends said, "Is that baby poop on your forehead? It's very distinctive. It's kind of a yellowy, greeny." I said, "Yeah, that would be baby poop." So yeah, that's mothering. That's parenthood, right? Laugh it off. I'm the same. Already so worried about a messy house. Yeah, that was my thing. I always kept up with the housework, but I didn't nap enough, for sure. But yeah, housework. But I love doing it. To me, it's relaxing. If housework was a chore to me, I wouldn't have kept it up. To me, that's my Zen. That's my ASMR. That's my relaxation, my meditation. So, because I love cleaning, and I don't function in a dirty house. Like I never clean a dirty house. I maintain a clean one. To each his own. I'm not judgmental at all. If I go to someone else's place and it's a pigsty, I could care less. I never have any drive to want to clean up someone else's mess at all. I just like my own house. You know, my favorite part about having guests over is after they leave, I get to clean. Isn't that crazy? No, I guess I kind of enjoy them too, but I like cleaning because there's nothing to clean, you know, if it's just not a guest over. So isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, is my cleaning obsession. Do you believe in whipping your kids? No, of course I don't. Of course not. Katie, I still like a good nap. I'm a really good napper, really good at it. I'm up super early. I'm at the gym early. I'm one of those. And but yeah, oftentimes if I don't have a great night's sleep the night before, because I'm up early no matter what kind of sleep I have, I'm a really good napper, like really good at it. I can fall asleep probably once I'm horizontal, I'm asleep probably within a minute, maybe two. And then I'm out usually I'll sleep for maybe 20, 30 minutes. But one day I had a really rough night. I woke up, it was 2.5 hours later. And I thought, why is it dark out at 7 in the morning? And it was like 7 at night, but I had no concept of where I was or anything. But yeah, I wasn't as good when the kids were little, but I'm better at it now. What's your advice for toddlers on the spectrum? I don't have any general advice here because that's more of a specialty. That would be one-on-one coaching. And kids who are on the spectrum, that's ASD, autism spectrum disorder, they're all different too. So yeah, Dreamy Education, hey from Norway. I'm half Norwegian. Hello. I might get there one day. I'm very curious about all those countries: Sweden, Norway, Denmark. My son went to Denmark with business a few years ago. And he said it was really funny because it's flat, whereas Vancouver is very mountainous and hilly everywhere. And he said it was very flat, and they all rode bikes everywhere. They don't lock their bikes up or anything. It's just you ride your bike, you get off it, like it's no helmets or anything. And he said they all complained about the hill. He said he couldn't even decipher that it was a hill. He said, I swear, if you put a marble on it, it wouldn't even have rolled down. To them, they were just pushing their bikes almost. It was just agony getting up this hill. Struck me as funny. And I did a race years and years ago when we lived in Australia, and I lived in around hills, lots of hills, and I was used to biking hills, and I was in this biking club. So we did a race together as a group, and they said, now we're going to be passing everybody else on the hills because we lived in the Gap. The Gap was where my, if you know Brisbane at all, the Gap was where the biking club was. So they said, we will be passing everybody on the hills, but don't get too up yourself because they'll catch up on the flats. Well, of course, we were all so proud. We just zoomed past everyone on the hills. But then when the flats hit, they all zoomed past us. So it's whatever you get used to. Why the heck was I talking about that? Denmark, Norway. There you go. Okay. Well, I don't even know what to say to this. And do you believe on soft parenting is for soft kids? I don't know what you mean by that. And plus, I don't teach or look at any other parenting methods. I teach through my own experience. So if you're ever going to ask me about any other method, I wouldn't have a clue. My teachers were kids and teenagers. That's where I learned all this. So yeah, if I ever want to know anything about kids or teenagers, I go right to the source. I've never read a book or anything on kids or the only thing I ever looked up, or the only experience I ever had with this was looking at what someone else was saying about kids, because I always went right to kids. I thought I was going to be a child psychologist. I was 20 years old and I entered this course and they kicked me out after a week because I asked too many questions. And also the other students were starting to come to me and asking me questions about kids. What they were teaching was garbage. This was 1980 and it was so patronizing. I couldn't believe it. It was just so humiliating and patronizing to the kids. It was so focused on their bad behavior and these mini therapy sessions. It was just garbage. I'm sure they're better now. But this was years and years ago. And I thought, thank God I was never under that umbrella. That was like a square peg in that round hole. No freaking way. It was awful. It was just awful. Yeah, they kicked me out. What I should have done, I should have held out and say, well, I'm not leaving. And they would have paid me double to get rid of me, I'll tell you. So it's the only time I ever entered into anything, any other adult ever talking about what to do with kids. It's the only time that ever happened. And that was 1980. Hasn't happened since. I've used R.L. Garrett. Okay. I've used so many of your tips and I believe and know you are a genius. Oh, thanks. I'm dumb as a doorknob with most things. Kids come easy to me. I must admit that. They always kind of did. But yeah, I'm kind of a moron with a whole bunch of stuff. You just ask my accountant. He would never call me a genius. Yeah. But kids did always come easy to me. I always understood them. Doesn't mean I was always perfect. I want to make that clear. This isn't about perfection. That's why I was accountable. I made mistakes too, but I'm very accountable. If I make mistakes, kids are very quick to point that out. Lisa or Mom, I don't think you were being very fair and reasonable then. And I go, okay, fine. What did I do wrong? And they were always right. Because when they respect you and you got that mutual respect, they never come at you like that unless they know they're right. They were always right. I was always wrong. Of course. It's not about pretending to be holier than thou. That's what I didn't like about the psychology stuff. It was this authority figure, this holier than thou crap. I hate all that. It's so patronizing. And I'll tell you, a lot of kids are smarter than a lot of adults anyway. So I don't like that stuff. But anyway, but yeah, never mind. I won't go off on a tangent. Is the positive action always the same for that consequence? No, if you need the dishwasher unloaded, it could be that. It's just, you can just, don't worry about what the consequence is. A lot of parents get stuck on this. What's the best consequence? There is no best consequence. It's just get them to do a good deed. If they do something naughty, they do a good deed. You teach them how to be good. That's the whole idea. If they won't go along with that, then you resort to the 24-hour media blackout or whatever, So don't get caught up in what the consequence is. It doesn't matter. Like I said, if the kitchen floors need sweeping, then sweep it. Have them sweep it. If there's toothpaste in the bathroom sink, have them clean it out. I never had kids clean toilets, and I'll tell you why. Well, for one thing, I love cleaning them. I won't tell you how many times a day I clean my toilet. Anyway, just because I'm very, I got some issues. I just love cleaning. Anyway, but I never wanted them to clean a toilet. I was always worried that they'd splatter and it'd hit them in the face or something. And even though you could probably drink out of my toilets, but still, I didn't want them ever cleaning toilets. Yeah, so I never had them do that. Oh, blended family stuff, that's always coaching because every single situation is different. And even if it doesn't seem different, this is interesting. I had these and this happens a lot actually, because a lot of people refer me to people they know, friends or family. So they'll compare notes. And then sometimes they'll tell me later on, they say, we compared notes. We had the exact same problem and you told us completely different things. And I said, yeah, coaching is personal. Like I told you what would work best for you. And I told you but they'll compare notes and they'll say, did you get the same Lisa that I got? BratBusters parent, is it the same one? But yeah, coaching is different. So it's catered to each family. I get to know them and I get to know your strengths and weaknesses. So sometimes I'll push parents really hard into something really difficult because I know they can kind of take it. They can deal with it. Others are more, fragile. Some parents, they're very emotional and more fragile. I go a bit easier on them. So yeah, that's what coaching is personal. It's different. God, you guys are getting young too. Every time I get new clients, I'm like, God, what are you, 12? They always look so young. Like it's not that I'm getting older. It's just that they're getting younger. But my God, some of these parents, they literally look like they're 16 years old. They're not, they're like 30. It's just because I'm old, right? Totally in love with you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Okay. What about a 3-year-old talking back? Nothing you can do about that. Okay. That's just attitude. It means that they don't respect you. You got to work on your leadership skills. They're talking back. It's a sign that you're not a leader. It's a sign that they don't respect you. You got to earn it. Don't just expect it. You got to earn it. Remember, we're never fixing kids. We're fixing and teaching parents here. I teach you how to be a leader. Like you won't get back talk. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. Okay. Oh, you look great, especially for your age. Oh, thanks so much. I never care about looks. I had my day. Believe me, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with being in my 60s. I had my day. And there's a lot of negativity to getting a lot of attention for how you look. I had a lot of really bad man attention when I was younger, like really bad. Now that I'm old, that doesn't happen. So yeah, I used to have to be very careful when I was younger. Anyway, so yeah, looks are fleeting. They don't matter anyway, not in the long run, but thanks so much for that. What I do love is when people say I'm helping them and I'm funny. And I'm fit. If someone says, "Oh, you're so fit," I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Like, I just become an idiot. Someone says, because I work so hard at fitness that it's important to me. So if someone says, "Oh, you look really fit," oh, thank you. How much money do you want? Like, that's my real weakness. We're all vain in some ways, right? But yeah, looks not so much anymore because you can't rely on that forever. That's for sure. I'm falling apart. You should see me when I roll out of bed in the morning. I can't even look in the mirror and scream. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me. I got to go. If you check out the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, my big boot camp courses. I have my group coaching sessions with those boot camp courses. You have to be enrolled in those. And I'll be answering your questions every Saturday morning. They're group coaching sessions. They'll all be done on video. You'll be turning up too, if you want to. And I'll be answering as many questions as I can about the boot camp and everything else that comes up. There's no extra cost for that, but you do have to be enrolled. Now that starts 2 weeks from today. Look it up in the link above and you'll see more about that if you're interested. If not, don't bother. You can always get the free behavior board, and these are all free. All my videos are free. I give away tons. My daughter and I we're in the caring field. Okay. So if you're in the caring field, you can't not give stuff away for free. That's the way I look at it. And most of the time I spend is probably working on free stuff, all these videos, a whole bunch of stuff that we do in the back end. But yeah, so if you're in the caring field, anyone in the caring field usually is giving stuff away for free because you're caring, right? Not everyone can afford coaching or courses, and they don't even want to buy them maybe. The behavior board's free. All these lives are free. And all my videos are free. And our podcast is free. We got a brand new podcast out now too. My daughter and I are doing it together. So you can check that out. You can always hire me for coaching too. There's a wait list, but I will get to eventually if you're interested. Anyway, I got to go. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll be back again soon. Happy parenting. Bye now. That was perfect timing with the alarm.